everyone, a very welcome to Vyas Edification Kota. So in the series of NCERT discussion today, we are going to discuss a new chapter from class 11, that is Plant Kingdom. Now, in this Plant Kingdom, we have total 12 questions in the NCERT and we are going to discuss each and every question in detail here. So let's begin, and we have a very first question, that is what is the basis of classification of algae. Now question is asking on what basis the algae is being classified into different categories. So we know that algae is a member, or algae is a group of primitive plants included in the kingdom Plantae, and further algae is classified into 3 different classes, which is, we know that green algae, brown algae and red algae. The scientific name of these 3 is Chlorophyceae, Rhodophyceae and Phaeophyceae. Chlorophyceae for green algae, Rhodophyceae for red algae and Phaeophyceae for brown algae. Alright, these are the 3 classes in which the algae plants are divided into. Now, on what basis the algae are divided into these 3 categories? The main reason or the main basis of classification of algae was their pigments. The major pigments present in them was the main reason on which they classified into different categories. And also there is another reason, that is the presence of different food reserve material in them. All of these 3 categories of algae have different reserve food materials in them, as well as different major pigments in them. If we talk about the very first class, that is Chlorophyceae. Chlorophyceae is a group of algae, that is green algae. In green algae, if we talk about the major pigments, then all the plants included in Chlorophyceae have chlorophyll A pigment as well as chlorophyll B pigment. These 2 major pigments are present in the Chlorophyceae. Then if we talk about the Phaeophyceae, that means brown algae. The brown algae have pigments chlorophyll A and chlorophyll C as well as fucoxanthin. Alright, now if we talk about the last one, that is Rhodophyceae. Rhodophyceae have pigments chlorophyll A, chlorophyll D and phycoerythrin. So all these are the major pigments which are different in different categories and present in them, due to which, or on the basis of these major pigments, algae is being classified into 3 different categories, and these pigments are actually responsible for coloration or color present in the algae such as green, red and brown. Now let's talk about the food reserve material in different categories of algae. If it's starting with the Chlorophyceae or green algae, then the food reserve material in green algae or Chlorophyceae is just similar to the higher plants. That means Chlorophyceae algae have reserve food material as starch. If you talk about the Phaeophyceae or brown algae, then the food reserve material in brown algae is mannitol and laminarin. And the last one, if you talk about the Rhodophyceae, which is red algae, then red algae have food reserve material as Floridian starch, which is similar to the glycogen in structure. Now let's come towards the solution, written solution of this question. That is, if we talk about the basis of classification of algae, first we will write that the major pigments, present in algae is the main basis of classification and also the food reserve material, food reserve material present in them. Now we have three classes, we have three different categories of algae, which means that algae is being classified into three different categories such as green algae, brown algae and red algae. So let's write here chlorophyce, then we have brown algae, that means phaeophyce, and last one we have is red algae, that means rhodophyce. Alright, now we are going to write the major pigments of each of them and the food reserve material. So first I am going to write the major pigments of them. Then if we talk about the chlorophyce, we know that chlorophyce have chlorophyll A plus chlorophyll B. Now if we talk about the pigments of phaeophyce, that means brown algae, then we have chlorophyll A plus chlorophyll C plus fucoxanthin. Now in rhodophyce we have chlorophyll A. Chlorophyll A is common in each category of algae. Chlorophyll A, chlorophyll D plus phycoerythrin. Now let's talk about the food reserve material in them. The food reserve material in chlorophyce is starch. In phaeophyce it is laminarin plus mannitol, and in the last category of algae, that is rhodophyce, we have Floridian starch, which is similar to the structure of glycogen. In structure, it is similar to the glycogen. So here on the screen you can see the complete solution or answer of question number 1.